Hello everyone. Let's talk about Exodus chapter 8 today. This is a continuation of the biblical narrative in the book of Exodus, which recounts the events of Israelites' liberation from slavery. This chapter describes the second and third plagues that God sends upon Egypt through Moses and Aaron. God instructs Moses to go to Pharaoh again and demand the release of the Israelites. If Pharaoh refuses, Moses is to warn him of the second plague. When Pharaoh dismisses Moses and Aaron, Aaron stretches out his staff over the waters of Egypt. In response, frogs came up from the rivers and invade the land of Egypt. Frogs are everywhere, filling houses, ovens, and beds. Pharaoh's magicians also replicate this sign, but their actions only worsen the problem. Pharaoh, distressed by the frog infestation, begs Moses and Aaron to intercede with God to remove the frogs. He promises to let the Israelites go if the frogs are removed. Moses allows Pharaoh to choose when the frogs will be removed, and Pharaoh chooses the next day. When the frogs die and are gathered in heaps, Pharaoh once again hardens his heart and refuses to let the Israelites go. God instructs Moses to go to Pharaoh again and perform the third plague. This time, Aaron is to stretch out his staff and strike the dust of the earth, turning it into gnats or lice that infest both people and animals. The magicians try to replicate this plague but fail, acknowledging that it is the finger of the god. However, Pharaoh's heart remains hardened and he does not heed the demand to Israelites' release. God continues to send plagues, demonstrating his power and resolve to free the Israelites. Pharaoh remains stubborn and does not let the Israelites go as promised, despite the growing hardships in Egypt. This chapter showcases the escalation of God's judgment on Egypt in response to Pharaoh's stubbornness. The plagues, including the infestation of frogs and gnats or lice, are seen as divine signs and are meant to convince Pharaoh to release the Israelites. Pharaoh's initial willingness to negotiate and then his subsequent hardening of heart, illustrating the theme of divine hardening, where God allows Pharaoh to persist in his refusal to let the Israelites go, setting the stage for further display of God's power. This chapter is a part of a larger narrative of the Exodus, highlighting the tension between God's divine and Pharaoh's resistance, which will ultimately lead to the final and most devastating plague and the Israelites' eventual liberation. Thank you for listening. May God bless you all in abundance.